Yeah, exactly. They're mohawks, large chains. Well, they're not here today. Jin Air versus Anarchy. Picks and bans for game number 1, and there is that Z ban against Mickey. A pretty common sight.
Can't let him have it.
Yep.
We sometimes see 3 mid bans against Mickey, especially from teams on the blue side.
Well, he really is kind of the primary, well, he's definitely the primary threat, and a lot of times the only threat on Anarchy.
So Annie taken out immediately. No Callista or sign of Rise quite yet. There's Ari. Okay, so we're doing this. It's probably going to be Twisted Fate for the last ban from Jin Air. They're a big TF team too. We know GBM loves to prance around the map with a teleport Twisted Fate, but
and prance really is the right term for Twisted Fate as well. I totally agree.
Especially for GBM's Twisted Fate.
Interesting bans coming out on red side. Nidalee after the Annie.
There's TF, so they're getting Callista or Rise at this stage.
Or potentially Elise too.
Now, I'm surprised that Rise has seen so many bans tonight, considering his nerfs. You have a lot smaller window right now to execute your big combo with him.
Yeah, the ult's down to 6 seconds rather.
Yeah.
Makes it a bit tougher.
This is 40% nerf. That's pretty huge. So they're gonna leave it open.
Callista, all right. And just another reminder, we are on 5.14, and that's going to be a Rise first pick for Trace. Maybe for GBM as well, too, but...
So Lyra gets the Elise. That's a big pick for them, considering the strength coming out of their jungle. Lyra, one of their better players. So the Rise. Is that going to GBM? Are they going to let Trace play it? And they're going to lock in Victor, so it will be Trace playing it. One of the few times we will see Trace play a carry top. Has played some Hecarim, wasn't great on it, but... So a big change. Trace, known for not getting very many of Jin Air's resources, he's going to need more in this game to scale properly.
And what's that other pick going to be? And again, since we're on 5.14, that mid-Ezreal not as much of a threat as it was before anymore.
Oh no, it's not good anymore.
It's gone.
It's done.
Will it be the Corki? Fits. Corki would be fine.
Yeah, of course, pretty standard 80 carry for Pilot, but they will take the Rek'Sai instead. That's an early pick. No need to show the Corki quite yet. You can deal with not having it. Songyun insta-locks Lucian. Wow.
That has been one of his better champions this season, too, and it's certainly something quite a bit safer than Jinx. So I agree with that. Will Mickey go for this Orianna, though? I mean, they've got a lot of pick potential right now, and if Lucian's dealing the damage, could be very good. The Azir. Okay, so we will see the Azir after his attack speed changes in 5.14. Again, he gets a ton of attack speed from his W.
Great siege composition for Anarchy, though.
Yeah.
Azir obviously still good at sieging, even if he can't combo as effectively by pushing somebody into the enemy team, or your team rather. Yeah. But you have a ranged jungler here, Lucian and Azir, so you're going to have some nice punch in the mid game for taking down towers. They could answer this with some Corki from Pilot. Corki Alistar, very stable lane, but they will have some trouble. Lucian and Braum is not a good lane to take Corki into because your trading is just going to be blocked. Your Phosphorus Bomb will be blocked by Unbreakable, and then you'll have to deal with a Lucian proccing his passive on you.
True enough. Wow, they might switch over to the Vayne. I think the Corki is a little bit better to go with here.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for 2 scaling champions. You have the Rise. Don't worry so much about that. Focus on the wave clear and the defense right now, and that's what it's going to be. So Gnar for Ixu in the top side, not a champion that he has played a whole lot.
That is a lot of CC on Anarchy's side. This is a team that you can be aggressive in skirmish with. This is a team you can poke with as well, too. It'll be interesting to see how they play it out.
Yeah, I think it's good for Siege. I do not think that they have a strong primary engage here, at least with a single target CC, and not moving herself in there automatically is a bit riskier compared to something like Maokai, especially since Maokai has follow-up CC after he goes in. So they can rely on picks to a certain degree, but Jin Air, there's basically no way to get back onto Victor for Anarchy. That's not a very good sign because GBM will have a lot of freedom and some really, really good kiting from Jin Air here. Well, with the Rise and Victor.
Yeah, I mean, and you combine that with GBM's already safe play. It's unlikely that they're going to get a lot of kills on this mid laner. We'll see, though. Anything can happen. Again, Spenu just beat Janair, so I'm not going to make any predictions for this one, guys. I have no idea who's going to win it at this point.
Indeed. Tough.
Yep.
I think Janair obviously should be the favorite, but it's like you're saying, it's difficult to call them that any longer after being defeated by a team that couldn't win a best-of-3 in 15 previous attempts.
That's right. Well, Janair versus Anarchy, game number 1. Time to see who gets the early lead. Let's find out. Welcome once again to Summoner's Rift. Janair Green Wings taking on Rebels Anarchy. Even their own fans won't call them Rebels Anarchy.
Just gotta say, Anarchy.
It's one of the strangest things we've seen, I think, in Korean naming for teams or players, is that no sponsor, no nothing. You just put a Rebels in front of your name. Decided to swap it. At least we're out of the phase where it's IM 1 and 2, and KT roster A and B.
SKT T11 and SKT T12.
Yeah, well, they never improved. They just changed themselves to S and K. So
they didn't have enough branding in their name already.
I guess not.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There was SK was only there once, so you had to add it a couple more times. You know.
Yep. Sure. You triple brand, and then everybody knows. They really, really know what team it is. I've heard the bird is a word, but I'm not so sure now.
Azir just going to coo at you. Death pigeon.
It's a dance-off. Who does the BM ability first? That's the question. Every day I'm shuffling.
No.
No,
I've seen you many days,
I am.
and you're not shuffling. That's a lie, Joe. I don't lie to the fans.
You don't see me all the time. Perhaps I shuffle at home when no one's watching.
Shuffle to yourself.
Well, you don't really shuffle to yourself. You can shuffle by yourself. Shuffling is not really an action that can be done to anyone.
Oh, yes, it can.
You think so?
I can shuffle to you. Absolutely.
Aggressive shuffling? Well, it's going to be a lane swap, I guess. Songyun shuffles his way up the top here, and Trace has brought Uncle Rise to deliver some freedom from embarrassment to Janair.
Liberating himself from his shame.
That's right.
He's actually
a little bit of shock and awe.
He's going to liberate GBM from GBM's shame of missing all those cues. He's actually going to go back right now. Doesn't want to get in a sticky situation, and he didn't do any kind of jungle follow here.
Yeah.
So that may have been a bit overconfident. Going to check out his own jungle instead.
Gank onto Mickey in the mid lane, but no damage there, or no kill there at least.
Yeah, not going to be doing a whole lot, so could be
a
four-man collapse. They want to shut down the Rise early, but Chaser's already here, so is Sweet.
It's almost Mega Gnar time.
Well, okay.
Just letting you know. Who needs blocks?
I don't know why Mini Gnar has blocked.
Because he's wearing like pajamas, so it's like sort of childish, I guess.
I see.
Yeah. Did you have blocks when you were a kid?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Or did you just play with like oversized children's cufflinks or something?
That's what I did.
I thought so.
My baby-sized tuxedo.
Your parents gave you like a Fisher-Price cufflinks and like giant leather-bound books.
I'm okay with this.
I thought you would be. See, I knew.
Worked out. Turned out well.
Yeah. Well, will things work out for Trace in this top lane? He's still managed to stay up in CS to Ixu at least.
Ixu attempted the dive. They thought maybe they could isolate Trace, but Trace has really good map sense, and he's one of the harder top laners to dive in Korea because he'll never really give you that opportunity. He backs off the turret so readily. He's okay with denying himself some farm as long as it wastes the enemy jungler's time. And this frequently leads to Chaser getting a lead when it comes to CS or counter jungling. So basically, instead of Chaser going up to help Trace and help him get farm, he will instead let Trace lose farm and back off the turret, and then instead go get farm for himself.
Is that something that's really wise to do when your top laners arise, though?
No. In this particular situation, it's not. In the Rumble Maokai games, I don't think it matters too much. You could play both of those top laners low economy, but it's just been a trend for Jin Air to do this.
So how long do you think Sweet's going to hang out in the top lane then and make sure that Trace does get some farm?
Forever, probably.
Oh, okay. Forever.
Forever. Forever and ever. So, Pilot going to be in the solo lane. He will, of course, be fine in this situation, as will Manar. So, it's just about scaling for them. They need to continue the laning phase as long as they can. They can avoid some of the Lucian power spike in the mid game. That would be handy for them, but they have a Corki there just in case.
Sweet taking a lot of damage. It's a stun from Braum, but it looks like he'll be able to make it out. He's got that sustain, so might not be too bad. But here comes Lyra. They've got a ward, though, so no big surprise from this Elise coming in. He's going to get the ward at least.
And I guess that ward should have been wearing a cardboard box, so Lyra wouldn't get an exclamation point over his head.
I guess so. That was not a solid snake ward at all.
It was definitely not a solid snake ward.
You would have said, "Who's that box? It's just a box," and then walked away.
In the middle of the hallway where it wasn't before.
Yep, that's right. It's like,
Metal Gear Solid guards are really stupid.
Well, the people just leave boxes everywhere. That's a problem. Chilling Smite onto Mickey, and a parting Prey Seeker.
You would have thought, like Liquid Snake by now would be like, okay, guys, new guard training program.
Yeah.
Remove all boxes.
Yeah.
If you see a box, shoot it. We need to clean up these hallways.
That's right. If you see a box, no questions.
Just unload a clip into it.
Yeah, that's right.
Immediately.
Terrifying every UPS man in a 50-mile radius.
Well, that's why you got to clean up the boxes immediately. You open them, and then you collapse them. An uncollapsed box is potentially an enemy agent. That's really what he should be teaching everybody.
It could be Solid Snake. Yeah, or at least break down all the boxes.
That's what I'm saying.
After
I'm saying,
I agree.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just break them down immediately.
Liquid Snake and the rest of the bad guys are like really big on recycling now. Like, reduce the amount of dead guards because we're recycling all the boxes now. Solid Snake has got to be pretty flexible to fit in that box like that.
They're pretty big boxes.
Well, what if they just, you can use boxes, but they just have to be smaller boxes, you know? Make them smaller and smaller until Solid Snake can't fit them. Or because you like to see this box, this multi-box shaped thing walking down the hall, you're like, no, that's not going to work this time, Solid Snake. Fight over the red buff.
Yeah, Azir was back, but they're probably going to have to give this up.
They reset it.
Yeah,
GBM helping out.
Just being annoying, but without Trace there, they can't really commit to that. Trace got his tier, TP back into the top lane, so early stacking starting on that item. A lot of CS for both top laners in a lane swap in only 8 minutes.
Why did they name him Solid Snake anyway? Because he doesn't really like show up and like fight and be really obvious. He's just like, he just tries to be stealthy. They should have named him Sneaky Snake.
Sneaky Snake is a better name. I agree.
That guy was asleep and his friend put a piece of paper in his hat. That was awesome.
You know how there's the old World War II saying, loose lips sink ships?
Yeah, of course.
I think it should be uncollapsed cardboard sends you overboard.
Oh, ooh, that's really good. They need to hire you to make like wall decal art for the next Metal Gear Solid game. In a world without boxes, how will Snake survive?
He's been doing that for like 10 years too. You'd think they'd learn.
That's right. And whenever their friends call him on the radio when he's dying, it's not the best idea. You're going to totally blow your friend's cover if you think he's dying and you start yelling his name over and over again. Snake! Just like be quiet.
They're just emotional.
It's already bad enough, you know? Yeah, but at least mute it. You can yell Snake. You just shouldn't yell it into the walkie-talkie. Like, who's this guy? Oh, it's Snake. Ah, I see. We've never known, but now we know exactly who's behind this. We can retaliate appropriately. Thank you.
Well, and it's also, the fact that they don't even necessarily know he's dead. I mean, he just dies and doesn't
true.
respond. He could just be sneaking around saying nothing, and all of a sudden his radio crackles to life, and some idiot just starts yelling snake.
He's just in the bathroom. He's just like doing a number 2, and nobody wants to talk on their phone when they're doing that. So suddenly he's just like, you know, trying to get business done, and his friends start yelling snake, and like the guard in the next cell is like, what? Why is that cardboard box in the stall anyway? This is getting weirder and weirder. Oh well, I won't question that cardboard box.
Well, looks like we're seeing a Nashor's build actually from Mickey here.
It seems like you can get a lot of attacks that way. Mickey trying to get away, sit out with the E. Now, again, crucially, the E does not knock people up anymore.
This is different. So remember the W buffs that we were talking about earlier. So he's actually maxing W second and still maxing Q first, but he's making up for the lost attack speed by building daggers. A different approach for sure. Of course, it is better ever since the AP itemization changes. Lyra may catch this rise underneath the
No. Oh,
Trace,
so close.
Trace just always walks back and hides in between his towers.
Yep. Always at the right time. GBM drops that ultimate, trying to go all in. There's a gravity field. Mickey pushing him back. That's a lot of damage. Mickey barely getting out, but he doesn't need to use any of his summoners, and GBM did pop his flash, or not his flash, his ghost for that one.
It's still worth it, though, because you're pushing him out of lane.
True.
The ghost is on a much shorter cooldown. Not than the ultimate, but of course in the flash, and Mickey did get shoved back pretty aggressively right there. Lots of wards around mid, as we're used to seeing from Anarchy. They've totally taken over the topside jungle, and this means Chaser's going to have to come and help.
Yep, clearing out some wards on the way, but Trace continues to be pushed back and lose a bit of CS here and there. Still fairly up to date with Ixu. Wow, Sweet on a deep warding mission. And he's going to pay for it. Knocking so far back. Teleport coming in for Anarchy. They want to make a play here. GBM still no ult.
You definitely should.
Just used it. Uh-oh, GBM very, very low. Has to flash away. And now Pilot coming in. Songyun got low, but Snowflower should be able to keep him safe.
So Sweet should not be going into that side of the jungle when he knows that Anarchy knows where his jungler is.
Yeah.
They have some good wards, but that is a risky face check to make. And it's not even a decision for Anarchy there. They know they can just all in you like that, and they blow a bunch of flashes. You have your mid laner who loses flash as a result of that, and the summoner heal. They got some flashes out on the other side, but even so, not a wise decision. Ixu has his TP down now after TPing. Oh, looks like he canceled it, actually.
All right. So a little bit of a TP advantage for the moment, anyway.
I showed my Pilot to chip out this tower and get this advantage in a tough lane. I mean, we talked about this earlier, but Rom Lucian is pretty good in the laning phase, and for Pilot and Sweet to do this well in a matchup that can be quite challenging. Snowflower.
Oh boy, it's a game of dangerous warding, man. Lyra is there to help out.
Was barely too late. TP.
Yeah, they're going to try to go in on this one. Snowflower getting chased here. Lyra getting chased as well. Snowflower going to get taken out. First blood picked up by Pilot.
Which support takes more risks for wards? That is what this game is so far.
The dangers of warding.
Well, they got the mid lane turret, though. Managed to push that in on GBM, and they may get top here, too. So two towers, not too bad for what they picked up. Don't think they're going to be able to actually respond with a turret, or they're not going to be able to defend the turret in the bottom side with the Sheen Corki there.
Nixu leaves the turret up for now.
Yeah,
could have just autoed that.
Yeah, this Nashor's Tooth does a lot to Victors. We saw this even before the AP itemization changes in this matchup. But Victor, without any mobility spells, is going to take a lot of damage. Maybe an extra auto attack or two every time from a trade with Azir. If you position your Sand Soldiers properly.
It's so much poke, too, when you're trying to vie for positioning around things like Dragon and Baron as well. So this could be very, very hard to deal with late game for Jin Air.
Yeah, that Q damage, too. You can move it. It allows you to max that Q and really continue moving the Sand Soldiers on top of the Victor. So that's another nice bonus. This build really looking like it's working out. for Mickey.
Yeah. Getting some more wards down, and look at that attack speed already.
Well, he's starting to get his W up too. So.
Yeah.
Azir, certainly still a good champion. Maybe you can't use him in all of the crazy aggressive ways or initiations as you could previously.
Coco is crying softly somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure we'll still see amazing plays from Coco. I'm not worried, Doa.
Maybe just a few less in the 1v1 in mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as team fights go, you can still, you know, pull a Coco play and get behind the team and push them into your team with the Emperor's Divide or something like that.
Or at least clean up team fights by using Sand Soldier bending.
Yeah, and there the one knockup doesn't really matter as much. But it does reduce his presence in the 1v1, that's for sure. Or at least his kill pressure anyway.
He's just stacking up his ultimate right there so he can clear the wave instantaneously. He's a bit behind when it comes to CS, but still doing just fine, especially for the lane swap. A little bit late on the Rod of Ages, but again, was denied, so what do you expect? And we're just going to see some symmetrical pressure. Lyra is showing himself on the bottom side of the map score using this opportunity. And again, this is what I'm talking about. You know, Chaser's just going to counter jungle while Trace loses CS.
You know, and to Trace's credit, though, is that he's managed to more or less keep up and not die.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
It's easy to do one of those things. It's hard to do both on a champion like Ryze. You can keep up in CS and die, or you can go way down in CS and stay alive. Usually those are your choices with Ryze, but Trace has managed to do both.
Especially in the lane swap. That is very true in a lane swap situation. They tried to dive him, but Jhin Air was there with the play on the map to make it work and turn their fortunes around, prevent that dive from going up in the first place. And since then, it's been some pretty smooth sailing for Trace. They're finally going to put him in that 1v1, but Ixu already with the Hex Drinker and the Cowl, anticipating this move. Trace didn't have enough gold for the Rod of Ages on that back. It is really being delayed now.
I wonder if he would have sold one of his Doran's rings if he would have been able to get it. One wonders.
But he needs those Doran's rings. You have to have one for both hands.
That's right. You know, one ring to rule them all, but if you have two rings, you can rule them all and then some.
Make sure nobody, you know, if one gets thrown into Mount Doom, there's not really a problem. You still got that other one.
You got the one for like the elves and the dwarves and the men, but if you get another one, you can rule fish too. Yeah.
And you can attack those elven boats as they try to leave that continent.
That's right, all the fish slowly gnawing away at the hull.
Stupid elves.
That's right. Fell right into my trap.
How dare they attempt to escape my sphere of influence.
After 3 months at sea, a small leak will spring in the bottom of the boat.
And that's actually how Frodo died.
There we go. Yeah, that part wasn't talked about in the movies, but where he dies on the way, you know, to the Undying Lands, ironically. Everyone had a good laugh about that, you know. It's like, who knew? Oh, wow. Pilot doing a good job of just moving around the map and pushing, too, you know? Took out a couple turrets. Jhin Air keeping up in that regard as well, and one dragon. Or 1 minute until the dragon. Only one dragon, that was true, I suppose, but...
There's only ever one on the map at any one time. Just release it from the Dragon Factory and send another one to roost.
Unless there's a Shyvana in the game, but sometimes there's two.
Dragons usually last about a minute before they're killed, maybe less. Sometimes we don't have dragons very long after the first one dies.
Not quite the noble beast that you'd think.
Yeah, just slaying dragons really isn't too complicated.
No.
Reports of the difficulty of slaying dragons has been greatly over-exaggerated.
Yeah, pretty much. Seer puts up a Disc of the Sun. Wow. That Disc of the Sun.
Did you know that briefly, so Azir obviously Egyptian inspired, and the Disc of the Sun in ancient Egypt was called Aten.
Yeah.
And it was for a very brief time actually turned into a monotheistic religion with the worship of the Disc of the Sun before they went back to polytheism.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And actually, Tutankhamun, yeah, was the son of the pharaoh that did that.
Oh. You know, King Tut himself.
Because his first name was Tutankhamun, which was the sun disk. So interesting times if you like ancient Egyptian history and mythology.
You know, you may be surprised to know that I actually did know that. Because my dad's really into that stuff. My dad can read hieroglyphics even.
Nice.
Yeah. Taught me a bit when I was a child. We should go explore the catacombs of Egypt together.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Let me put on my headset. Let's go. Oh, I suppose we should stay for this one at least. You didn't mean right now, I guess, huh? Okay. Oh. I was all excited for our grand adventure. Oh, Janair with a good position over this dragon.
I just really want to go grave robbing with you, Dara.
That's right. Well, no, it belongs in a museum.
Can I just keep it for a little while, then we can give it back?
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
I'm sure nobody will mind. Certainly not those like ancient mummies and their curses and stuff. It's fine.
We'll just let you enter the tomb first, okay?
Sure. Can we bring along Brendan Fraser?
No.
Why not? Encino Man was a great movie.
Not even Hollywood wants to bring along Brendan Fraser anymore.
Well, some directors ask that. Dragon being taken by Janair. Here comes a teleport coming down. They do get the dragon, but will they win the fight? Anarchy coming in. Culling Hughes not hitting a whole lot of people. Sweet with his ultimate in the middle of the fight. Pushes Mickey into the back. And Janair slowly cutting away. Trace coming in. As his ult, will he use it? Big knockup by Ixu, actually knocked against the wall. And Mickey and the rest of Anarchy totally destroy Janair. Wow, double kill, triple kill for Lyra. And Chaser, the only one to make it out alive. That just happened.
Yeah, you really don't want to fight Anarchy right now. You need more time to scale on your rise. You don't even have to go for that dragon if you're the Janair Green Wings, because your rise still scaling. Remember, he got his rod at 17, 18 minutes into this game, so he hasn't had a lot of time. His tier still stacking as well.
They got the dragon. They could have just walked away.
Yes, they could have. Sweep went in. GBM didn't really hit very much with his Death Ray. Now everybody is clumped up. GBM doesn't really see what he wants, I guess, in terms of his Chaos Storm, but Ixu, I mean, what a telegraph flash Gnar, too. They should have known that flash was up for the Gnar. Mickey did a really good job after getting punted out of coming back around to box people in for the flank.
Yeah.
He got headbutted out of the pit by Alistar.
Yeah, I was going to say that Janair's lucky that all those kills went on to Lyra, but then I saw that Lyra bought the Aegis, and suddenly it's not seeming so lucky for Janair.
Yeah, that's a big item completion. It's still probably better than it could have been, but you look at Songyun, he was losing his lane. Now all of a sudden he has a Phantom Dancer and an Infinity Edge.
And a lead in CS.
And a lead in CS.
Well, we'll see if Janair can turn this one around, but...
I mean, they still have a stronger late game, but
yeah, they do.
They were basically choosing to fight in their power drop. And if you're Janair, just be happy you got that first dragon.
Yeah.
Don't overplay your hand. It doesn't really matter if you get dragon number 2, and okay.
That's a fast Baron.
Trace has no TP.
Yeah, this may still be a little bit dangerous, so actually, no, never mind. Janair has no idea it's happening.
I see it now.
Do they? Yeah, they do. Too late. Anarchy takes a 23-minute Baron, and Janair, you know, again, that fight around Dragon just showing that they're really struggling as a team with team fighting right now. When to go in, when to go out, what to do during the fight.
And there is no excuse for losing a Baron like that. You have Rek'Sai. Yeah. You can see them when they're there with the Tremor Sense. You have Void Rush available. You should be getting wards on those locations. And if you're just split pushing with your Rise, what do you say? That's just a terrible call. Good job by Anarchy. I think he's quite happy. He's like, yeah, things are going better now.
He's like Spen, who gave us all the secrets to defeat Janair. But really, you don't need him because Janair is defeating him themselves.
Mysterious. They had so much going for them in the early game, and then they just decided to play to their weaknesses, not respect the capability of this Lucian, who does a lot of damage right now, and the Azir to take out that Baron, and now they are busy playing defense in a tough situation. just going to have to abandon the mid lane, apparently, as
Not a
Lyra finds an angle right there. GBM has to walk all the way back around.
Yeah, not an unwinnable situation for Jinair, but certainly close to unwinnable at this point.
It's getting really dicey.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have Rise.
And they're not KT, so they can't come back when everyone else should lose.
Yes, because they are part of everyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, another defense on a tier 2. They're committing all 5 members down here. We'll see if it can work. But already, 5K gold lead. This is exactly what Anarchy needed.
Yeah, and looks like they're going to get another turret as well, too. Their composition is good at sieging as this is. Not the type of team you want to get a lead in a silly team fight.
Precisely. Cully can come through at any time, clear out the minion wave. He is here, can just pop that W onto the tower and continue to take it down. There we go, another turret down. So 2 tier 2s and a Baron for Anarchy. It's 25 minutes.
Wow.
So they will pull out to an extremely nice lead. Pilot still struggling here. Doesn't even have his Blade of the Ruin King. In the meantime, Songyu nearly done with his 3rd core item. There it is, Blade's complete, but with the armor already on Gnar, that may not be as useful when it comes to timings as he would like. And Deathcap now down on the Mickey, so a massive buy from Anarchy.
It's just odd because, I mean, I can't stop thinking about that fight near Baron where they could have just walked away so easily, but Trace just kind of milled around in the fight too, didn't really use his ultimate to try to be intimidating or anything like that. It was just, that was one of the worst fights I think I've seen in a long time.
I mean, Jinair has just been, they have fallen off so hard in the later parts of this season in the 2nd round robin. Their team fighting is a mess these days, and it's just bad shot calling. Part of having good shot calling is knowing, do we need to fight this dragon? And the answer is definitively no. They did not need to fight it. Trace was far too weak. Trace was already behind where you would normally want a Rise build to be at that stage.
And you wonder if this is maybe the lack of Che, the lack of Captain Jack. I wonder who's doing the shot calling here on Jinair right now.
Yeah, it's been a mess recently, and now they have to give up the next dragon.
Yep.
No way to contest this, and maybe this is what they should have been doing earlier, concentrating the farm onto their late game carries and just show back up. Honestly, if you're running a composition like Jinair is with the top lane Rise, it is a luxury to get that first dragon. That is, you're just so happy if you get that, because then you get more time tacked onto the enemy at the end of the game, even if your enemies get every single dragon thereafter.
Yeah. Oh, Anarchy moving up. They may have caught Chaser here. Yeah, it's going to be dangerous. Chaser gets back in the lane.
TP.
Yep. Pilot running away. They're going to try to make something happen. Righteous Glory used, but they couldn't catch up to Pilot. I guess they did land the Q.
Holy, that was a terrible TP from Ixu. I don't know what he thought he was going to be able to follow up on right there.
Flash pulverize on the Snowflower. Jinair trying to turn this one around. The ult thrown back the other way by Braum, and Sweet's just going to get destroyed. Songyin with a kill there. No follow-up from Jinair.
And what do you say to that? Sweet just went in, used his flash to do that, accomplished nothing except for dying, and now they're Anarchy once again a man up when it comes to sieging in this top side. I don't even know what to say. There's just such a lack of synergy on Jinair. These players just frankly look like they have stopped trusting each other in any capacity whatsoever.
It really is that,
there
isn't it?
was
Yeah.
no fault. How does that even happen?
Well, and his team was there too. They were within range to follow up.
They just looked at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were afraid of the Glacial Fissure to be sure, but
well, you can go around it.
You can't. That could have been the best engage of all time, but if you behave like Jinair did, I mean, I don't think it was a great engage. It was okay, but if you just sit there, you got nothing. You're never going to win that fight, obviously.
Jinair really does seem to be kind of rolling over and dying here, and GBM is slowly building up a good amount of damage on this Victor, and there's still the outside possibility of a big team fight, but not if like you're saying, if they don't trust each other, and that really It really does look like what it is, because
Yeah, but 8K in the hole now. That's the problem. Is I don't care if you have a Rise. This is also post-nerf Rise.
it almost looks solo Q-esque, you know, where you have someone trying to make a play, but just because there's no communication, nobody's ready to follow up. Maybe there's just no shot calling going on right now.
To Anarchy's credit, they've done a great job warding this game. They've taken the right fights. We're criticizing Janair because they started the season so strong. They went up 4-0 to start the season. Remember they were tied with SK Telecom.
Yeah.
And they've been slowly sliding downwards. Anarchy doing a great job of baiting this Baron. Look at the vision. 5 pink wards down, 4 Anarchy right now. And they've got everything nice and set up. Anarchy should be making a decisive call. They're looking significantly better.
This is all just part of the grand get Naj into Worlds conspiracy, man. You know, Janair mysteriously falls off. Elise is mysteriously buffed. The truth is out there, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I think we live in a world void of meaning. There is no truth.
He's Nietzsche Christo. And Anarchy has a good position on this Baron right now. They're just going to start it.
Yep. Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Wow.
Just keep on
Mickey
poking
doing
him.
so much poke with that Azir, too.
They do need to fall back. They're waiting for the Rage Bar to get full. Now they're going to go for it. Good timing.
That's right. Janair funneling through a choke with the Sand Soldier. They're going to take some damage. Sweet getting really poked up. There's a headbutt pulverized, but again, no follow-up at all from Janair. Ixu, another huge ult throws Janair there. Janair's going to get destroyed again. And Anarchy having no trouble at all. Mickey with a kill onto GBM. Ixu lives through that Chaos Storm. Pilot on the run. It looks like Sweet is trying to make plays, but right there, you can't make that kind of play through a choke. And even though that is true, Janair also didn't even bother to try to follow up again. No,
there was no follow-up. Trace is going to try and hero mode this with a TP, but he's going to be too late.
Good
Maybe
luck,
get a kill, but Snowflower's still there. Lyra is too. Bye.
Uh-oh. Okay, he's okay.
Yeah, just disengaging with the Cocoon.
Yep.
Easily done. Anarchy playing a very clean game so far.
Well, this is pretty disgusting from Janair. For a team to fall so far, and yeah, that face pretty much says it all.
And especially because it's not like Anarchy. Anarchy has also been declining over the course of the season. It's not like we've seen Anarchy slowly powering up.
No, I would argue they've also gotten worse. Perhaps individually better on certain levels, but as a team, their coordination has gone down.
Well, this game is... They're doing a good job of snowballing, you have to say.
And Janair is really giving them a lot of opportunities where you don't really need high-level synergy to be able to pull off these kinds of fights.
Yep. And Ix has been there. Great flash ults this game.
Yep.
Really nicely done.
Now Janair is 11,000 gold down at 32 minutes.
2 Barons behind.
Yep. Dragon about to come up in 20 seconds or so. Anarchy should have no trouble at all taking that. They don't even need to go for it right away. They can just keep pushing.
Push
the
up.
Baron buff.
Push up, siege the mid lane. Use your compositional strengths.
Yep. And Mickey playing a style we don't see from him very often. Very positional, very just siege-oriented, not making the big flashy plays, but still making a big difference in terms of the poke he can put out with these Sand Soldiers. Not bad.
Well, you know, for Janair's playoff hopes, they were already very low.
Oh, geez, look at this. I feel like Trace could have taken him if he would have stuck around, but no, Meganar coming up, so I guess not.
If he tried to get in there,
yeah, he would have
Meganar, that would have been a bit hairy, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. If Janair loses this game, basically they can't make the playoffs. They had to win 2-0 tonight. That was pretty much
with the requirements. The way they've been playing, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, you can't really honestly say that Janair deserves to go to the playoffs compared to the other teams when we think about how they've been playing recently. Yeah. They're having a hard time cracking this base, though, surprisingly. Ixu has his TP up. Switch their focus back into the top side. Only a small amount of inhibitor damage coming through.
Yeah, they're surviving through this Baron pretty well, but what's going to happen after that? That's the question.
Getting just very small amounts of damage by rotating constantly between the top and the mid. It's working, but that Baron buff, not going to have too much longer on it. They're just going to have to pull back and, nope, they're going to make one final push. No more Baron.
Yeah, they're just going to turn around and go for the Dragon, I guess. Good decision. Can Jin Air chase him, though, and do something about this?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they could, but it might be the end of the game if they make that decision.
Well, Songyun has been having a pretty good game on discount banana costume Lucian.
Budget banana?
Budget banana. Discount
sounds
budget.
so much better as budget banana.
All right. Discount banana sounds a little bit more insulting, I suppose. Budget banana, that's fine too.
Oh. Well, pretty sure this is going to be the end of Jin Air here. Another game where they make some very poor decisions and very poor team fights.
Yeah.
And you can say, what is Sweet doing in this game in terms of his engages, but frankly, this is a massive team problem. There's some communication issue that's happening right there.
I mean, Sweet's made multiple engages that could have been followed up on.
Yeah, I'm not sure they were great engages, but they were certainly
Good enough.
The one through the choke was really bad.
Yeah, but the one in the top lane was certainly
all right.
Usable. Yeah. But I would like to see Che come back in. Captain Jack as well, too. Najin really does seem to need some sort of veteran presence in this game.
I don't know what they're going to do. I am surprised that after the Spenu loss, they didn't try some different members out in their roster.
Well, I mean, after a loss like that, things can either get better in the team house or they can get a lot worse. And if this game is in any indication, it looks like things did not go well.
Yeah. Well, the question is, are we going to see another wait for the Baron? These towers are chipped a little bit, but they've had a small amount of time to heal back up.
So the question, too, is now how efficiently can Anarchy close? Because it's not like they've been the greatest team at finishing games like this, too.
They've been more decisive this time. They've done a good job of just slowly increasing their gold lead and not giving up any pressure.
Sure. At some point, they need to try to crack this pace, though. Or they need to actually do it. I guess they've been trying for the last 10 minutes or so. Here we go. Sweet. An opportunity for a play there.
The slow death of the inhibitor turret.
I know, this is just agonizing, man.
Lyra's going to auto-attack them.
That's right. Time for the Elise to burst down the turret with those sick auto-attacks.
They really should just crack the base before going to the Baron. They fall back again. It is giving Jin Air, I think, too much of a fighting opportunity.
Yeah. Well, Jin Air is just constantly farming while this is all going on, too. And certainly not getting weaker by Anarchy doing this. And Jin Air does have a really strong late-game team comp, too.
Yeah, and they can't really dive this, right? Jin Air,
Yeah.
if they get dull, has so much damage from Victor and Rise underneath those towers that it becomes a very dangerous proposition.
Well, Lyra manages to grab the red buff on his way out. Mickey goes back for a buy. I think he picked up his Void Staff there, if I saw that right.
I think he got his Echo, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Could have been that. I wasn't sure if it was a Void Staff for the Echo.
Well, yeah, slowly working his way up to a Zonia's Hourglass, but I'm not sure he's going to have that done by the time this game ends. Clearing out the waves right now. Looks like Anarchy simply wants to force another fight around the Baron with the insane gold lead that they have currently.
Wow, they're just going to start the Baron. Just two-man that. They're going to get spotted, but how desperate is Jin Air going to be here? They should be pretty desperate. Coming in, there we go, Sweet for the engage. Misses that Pulverize, though. And now Anarchy's going to try to turn it around. Sweet, despite the ultimate, is taking so much damage. Wow, he lives through a full culling, but not through Songyun's burst afterwards. Exhausted the top line, and there comes the Emperor's Divide. Another huge ult. from Ixu. The double kill comes in for Songyun, and another easy team fight win for Anarchy.
Yeah, and Ixu's just going to be able to chase him down with the help of Lyra. There's the Flash Cocoon on a GBM.
Yep, Mickey with another kill. Oh, gives his life to GBM, but there's a near perfect ace. Mickey probably didn't need to be that aggressive.
Well, that is probably going to be the end of this game. This tower is so low already due to the repeated siege attempts by Anarchy.
Well, 50-second death timers, this is definitely the end of the game. They've got the minion wave. They've got 4 members of their team remaining. Going to be a pretty easy win here for Anarchy at 39 minutes. Man, I don't know what's wrong with Jin Air, but whatever it is bad.
Well, props to Anarchy, though. They did a good job cleaning up this game. They're going to take home at least a win in Game 1 of this series. And Sweet dies again. I mean, the one engage that his team actually followed up on, he missed his pulverize. He flashed in with the Righteous Glory, but couldn't pull off the actual pulve. And so there wasn't that initial CC.
Man, that was...
It's very clean by Anarchy, actually.
It was.
Well played by them. Well played indeed.
Definitely knew how to use it.
Particularly Ixu. I think Ixu had those 2 big ults that really turned the game on its head.
You know, and if you look at Jin Air right now, they don't look mad. They don't look anything. They just look like they're resigned to their fate here, and that's not what you want to look like after the first game in a